Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just trying to get set up here in the office. Okay. Welcome, everyone. I see some new names out there, and we are so delighted to have you. Let me turn on the video here. Okay. I'm so delighted to have y'all here today and enjoy our meeting. We just let me refer to what's on the agenda. I'm sorry, I'm actually doing this from my phone, so pardon me for touching on the screen real quick. Okay, so we want to talk a little bit about the agenda that's coming up in the next few months, and I'm trying to navigate through this here. We're doing a Scion exchange coming up. We want to talk about that. We have a very awesome speaker today. Her name's Marta. She's going to be talking about kumquats. We very grateful to have her with us. We just we're gonna go through the talk and at about 7:20 on our agenda, and after that about 8:20 we're gonna talk a little bit about announcements and some things going on at the orchard, and yeah, everything should be good. So am I missing anything, Lisa, Kurt? Is there anything I'm missing out that we need to discuss before we go ahead and let Marta get started?
No, but I believe Kurt has the introduction for Marta.
I do,
okay,
yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, just thanks again everyone for showing up. We got lots of people from all over the state. So, you know, COVID is terrible in some ways, but it's great in other aspects because we're still able to connect, and now we're able to connect from greater distances and stuff. So it's awesome to have Marta give us a presentation up in the Sacramento Davis area. So yeah, Marta is a trained plant geneticist. She's been involved with many companies on the leading edge of plant technology. She's from Uzbekistan, so she started gardening. Sorry, her bio didn't print properly here, but yeah, from Central Asia in Uzbekistan, then the Soviet Union. She then made her way over here to wonderful California via the Netherlands and New Jersey. Yeah, and so she started her current plantings in 2001, joined the CRFG in 2011, and I believe it has taken off from there. So she's now serving on the board of directors for the CRFG, so that is awesome. Thank you so much for your service there. Yeah, and after that, we are going to get started. So everyone welcome Marta, and I will now share the screen.
Awesome. Hi, Marta.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
And let me see.
I need to give you control here.
Yep, you need to give me control here. And I will stop my video. And no, it's still not there.
There you go. Should have it now.
Okay. That's strange. Do you see my screen? Because I don't have multiple participants. Okay, I don't know, advanced sharing options. Oh, okay. Okay. All good?
Yep,
good.
you got it.
Yeah, good. So
Actually, really quickly, Marta, before you go, if you can do the PowerPoint button up at the top in the burgundy, there you go. Perfect.
okay, yeah, that was the plan. So I just wanted to tell you that most of my professional work was in genomics companies, so I actually was not involved directly with plants. Well, I was involved at the molecular level, but just recently, a couple of years ago, I started to work for this company called French Coffee. You may have heard of them. They are in Santa Barbara, and we basically developing a California coffee industry. It's a super specialty coffee, and we have over 60 farms which now grow coffee in California.
Oh,
If you go to French Coffee website, you will see what we are doing. My role is running the research and development side here in Davis. The company grew out of an organic rare fruit farm. So we still have a lot of various tropical fruits which company sells, and that's on another website called Goodland Organics. So if any of you need any tropical fruits, you can go there and you can see what you can get from there. Just someone recently was asking about ice cream beans, and I found out that our company actually sells ice cream beans. We have a lot of trees there. They're actually used as a shade trees for coffee. Yeah, and with gardening, I'm very obsessive. I grow a lot of different fruits, and maybe it's even an understatement, as you will see by the end of this presentation. Obsessive word is probably a little bit soft for what I'm doing. So I'm going to go through many fruits. I grow over a fruit over entire year at 2 locations, but I will just concentrate on some of them, which are more unusual or just recently introduced by me or someone else to the valley. So 2 locations I grow my fruits at. Davis, where my home is. Yeah, and if you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt me, or if anything wrong with sound. So Davis is a small yard, suburb, and I started in 2001 in this location, and I started with succulents mostly actually. And then, and I had maybe just 20 fruit trees, but after joining CRFG in 2011, it's all gone wild. And even at home, I probably have at least 200 fruit trees. Of course, I prune them into the small size, so they can share the space. So the challenges in Davis is mostly shade and lack of space. Shade because my neighbors have very tall trees. My southern neighbor planted sequoias, coastal sequoias, so they give a lot of shade from the south. And my eastern neighbor also planted very large trees, which basically block me from the from the morning sun. Yeah, but I have plenty of afternoon sun, because the corner you see is basically facing west. In Vacaville, where my friends have farm, it's about 6 acres. They have farm and a business, basically it's a laboratory business, pest testing company, or plant disease testing company. So they let me plant a lot of trees over there, and challenges there. It's open space. It's very open space. It's basically a flat farmland. So that location is much cooler in winter and much hotter in summer. No protection from fences, from structures. The air masses move very fast. So that location limits me a little bit on what I can grow. In terms of like a borderline tropical plants, but that location provides much more sun. Like all stone fruits, I can get much more, of course, yields than what I can get at home in my limited space. And I listed here a lot of species I grow here, and we will go through some of them. And I decided to structure the talk by seasons, because I don't know what is the best way, but I think after this 20 years of gardening in the valley, what I realized that it's important to have fruits every season, every month, every week of the year. I want to harvest something. So that's basically the reasoning for this structure of the talk. So in spring, these are the fruits which I listed here in spring. And tropical and Malaysian guava, which are really, for you, you probably can grow them easily, but not many people grow them here. But few other people I found out grow actually tropical guavas here too. So basically maybe handful just of people in Davis. I know two maybe just a couple of other people growing tropical guava in Davis. So it's possible in protected locations. So my only spring growing avocado is, I'm going to talk in detail, some late citruses still in spring, lots of mulberries. I will be talking in detail about mulberries. Cherries, I get Suriname cherries. So Suriname cherries is my introduction, and I will talk about it. Early peaches, we can get a couple of early peaches here in May. Early apricots, loquats. You actually, guys, originally you asked me about loquats, so that's why I included all loquats I grow or fruited. And alpine and regular strawberries too. So let's start from avocado. So this is my introduction, which we found with my husband in 2016 in Santa Rosa. Santa Rosa is not a prime avocado growing region, neither the valley. So we easily can grow here Mexican avocados, those ones which fruit in fall, like Mexicola, like Duke, like Aravaipa, like Brazos Bell. So they all grow fruit in fall. It's very easy. It's more difficult for us to find avocados which will grow easily here and fruit in spring. So this is one of those. So in 2016, we found this place in Santa Rosa and acquired the wood, and I started making tree. The fruit is large, the skin is soft, the flesh is very creamy and smooth, doesn't have any strings in it. It's not the highest oil I ever have on avocado. It's not the highest flavor, but it grows and produces nice in the time when we don't have any avocados. So I just registered it with CRFG because I'm also a registrar, new fruit variety registrar. So, and it's about a year on a tree. So the tree blooms in April and I get fruits the following March, April, May. And new fruits are developing now on the tree. So this is how trees which I made into, yeah, by the way, when I make trees here, avocado trees here, I always make them on Duke or Aravaipa seedling rootstocks. So these trees which now growing in Vacaville, they are all on Duke seedling rootstocks. So I planted I made two of these trees, and I planted them in 2016 right away. It was very small trees, so I made them like in April, and I planted them already midsummer, and they never been protected. Temperature range over there between 23 degrees Fahrenheit and 110. So in 2018, they were still quite small trees, a little bit struggling after winter. Of what I found during this experimentation that eastern walls are better than southern walls because the sun hits eastern wall first in the morning after the frosty nights. Eastern wall gets its sun later, but really it's you know, the house position is never perfect, south, east, west. So when planting in such locations and kind of a border climate situations, always check where the sun hits first thing in the morning to find the best spot for your sensitive plants. So that's how they looked in 2018. And that's how this small struggling tree back in 2018 looks in 2020. I just took this picture. So even the smaller tree by the southern wall is now above the roof of the building, and it's fruiting too. So last year I only had fruits from the eastern wall tree. This year I'm also having fruits from the southern wall. So basically what it says me is that trees are precocious. it fruits very fast. It fruits in 3 years from grafting. It starts making the fruits. And the tree is very vigorous, so in a small, tight yard situation, it might need pruning. It's a vigorous grower. So the next thing I'm going to talk about mulberries, because mulberries, I think people should grow much wider than what we are growing now. They are beautiful fruit. They don't have any diseases. Pests, of course, birds are there, but otherwise I didn't see any problems on my mulberries. And I'm growing a lot of different mulberries only in Vacaville now. I have small tree in Davis, but it's mostly in Vacaville. A number of cultivars from Alba and Makrura, and yeah, I think all people know here, but I still will repeat it. So black color doesn't tell anything about the species. White mulberries can be black fruited too, and the Morus nigra stands, nigra and the Morus nigra stands for the color of the buds, and those are black mulberries, only Morus nigra, and they also called Persian mulberries, black mulberries, and those I have 4 different accessions. They're great mulberries, but they ripen later. For me, they ripen a little bit too late when I already have too many peaches, nectarines, apricots. So it's hard to make yourself to go look for a small tree, for a small fruit, sorry, when you have a lot of large fruits, which are much easier to pick and eat. So I will concentrate here only on the Alba cultivar, Alba Makrura cultivars, which are much earlier, which come in May and June for me. Does anyone grow in your southern, in your area, in your chapter, 4 Seasons mulberry?
No.
No? Okay. So because I provided wood down south, but maybe didn't get to you. So I know that for sure I provided this wood to Bakersfield. So this is a very interesting mulberry. Some people in very mild situations, you probably can have these fruits completely year round. So it's a small bush. And it truly ever-bearing. So my problem with this mulberry only is that sometimes when in February we have really warm temperatures, it start budding out and making fruits, and then in March we have frost, so everything gets burned.
I'm at Zoom for a fruit growers meeting.
Sorry? No, it wasn't a question to me. Yeah, so basically, yeah, so and then it delays, and real first harvest stably I'm getting in May, and then it continues into December. And spring harvest like May, June, they're not very sweet, but they're becoming very, very sweet from July on into December. So this mulberry really needs heat to develop all the sugars. It's more on sour side, yeah, earlier in the season. And it's quite large, so I don't know if you see my mouse. So this is what is in this red circle. That is a 4 season mulberry. How it compares to Pakistan, for example, Pakistan on the left here. Oh, I should be admitting people now. Okay, I'm admitting people too. So Pakistan, I'm not going to talk anything about it because it's just an excellent mulberry and everyone should be growing it. And you can find it in Home Depot, and it's excellent cultivar. It's sweet, sour, large fruits, excellent. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Oh, how do I go to the next slide now? Okay, good. So do you grow this one, which is very often called white Pakistan? No, nobody grows it. So anyway, so it goes under different names, which I think is the same thing. So it grows under Saharanpur local, which is probably the proper name. It also called Australian green and Pakistan white. So these three accessions are grafted onto the same tree, and I don't see any difference. I think it's the same thing. So this one is purely sweet, doesn't have any acid. I didn't like it in the beginning, first time I tried it, but then it kind of grew on me, and I really like it, and I sense a lot of flavor beyond sugar in it. So I wish this would be more popular, and people should be able to buy it in the box stores too. It's a good fruit. And I know that people in Sacramento here are very often looking for this particular variety, but it's really not easily available now. Bullock is a white small one. This white small one, and that's on top here of Four Seasons mulberry here. It's a little bit smaller fruits than Four Seasons. So it's a typical mulberry which people eat in Central Asia. So I'm originally from Uzbekistan, from Central Asia. So it was a very similar, we grew there very, very similar mulberries. This one, I think the origin is Turkish for this one. No acidity, very, very nice fruit, sweet. But for those who like really complex flavor and only appreciate fruits like Pakistan, this is probably not for them. But this one also very often used for drying. And sometimes you can buy dry fruits of this mulberry type, like in various Persian stores. If you can just probably even order them online, and they're dry fruits, and they use them in various ways. Another one I grow and like very much is Himalayan D-More 9 mulberry. This is, I don't see it available at all. So this mulberry originally came from a Wolfskill station of USDA. It's in Winters here, 30 minutes from Davis. They have this accession. Normally it comes before Pakistan. For the fruits are slender, more slender than Pakistan, and they feel longer too. The leaves are very different. The flavor is different too, but I would say it's as complex as Pakistan, and this one should be more available too. This year we had such a weird summer that this mulberry decided to make a second flush of fruits for me in October. I didn't see it before, but this year it happened. I don't know if it will be a regular occurrence or it is just this year occurrence. In our situation, we usually don't have a second flushes on mulberries. If we forget about Four Seasons mulberry, normally they didn't do a second crop for me, but this year it happened. Okay, I'm admitting Tom Williams now. Okay. Okay, and finally, the last mulberry, which is even more rare than everything else I was talking before, and which I'm introducing now. I'm trying to introduce it more widely than, well, I just found one tree, very old tree with a very old family somewhere north of Sacramento, and who bought this tree, I don't know, and how long ago, but I basically was able to identify it as a Black Prince translation from the same Ukrainian or Russian words. It has very large fruits, very fat, large fruits, and the most interesting thing in it, well, not just that, but it has white center, white core. And the flavor is very complex, and it doesn't bleed basically. It's very firm as a mulberry. So, and this is later, as this is not my spring, but my summer mulberry. It fruits for me somewhere in June. Okay. Yeah, the other feature of this tree, of this accession, basically it was bred for Northern Europe. So these trees living very late, and it should tolerate very cold winters. Online somewhere I was chatting with someone, and they said that they are now testing this cultivar in Finland. So we will see how it will go here. Okay, sometimes my slides, okay. So the conclusion about mulberries, they need to be distributed better, and I think it's up to us if we want them to be more popular or not. And I think box stores should have more mulberries beyond Pakistan cultivar. And I will try to talk with people from larger nurseries and see if they can get. If they're interested to get any of this into their production, because the only way for cultivar to survive, I believe, is to go through large commercial chains, large scale propagation. So let's moving on loquats. So loquats, I grow a number of them, and I'm
Hey, Marta.
Go ahead.
Can you do me a favor? We need to just pause the presentation real quick. I accidentally made you the host, and that's why you have to let people in. So if you can, on my name on the participant list on the side, if you make me the host, I should be able to make you the co-host or allow you to share the screen. Yeah, sorry about that.
No, I should do something, right?
Yeah. So if you look for my name on the participant list.
Now.
Kirk Swanner. Yep.
More.
Make host. Yeah.
Make host. Do you want to change? Yes. Okay.
Okay. I think I still see your screen, so I think we should be good to go.
Okay. So look what. I started growing them a while ago, and what I do with loquats, I have my big home tree on which I graft a lot of different cultivars, and I also have few trees in Vacaville where I have some individual trees, some multi-grafted trees, and then I just evaluate them over spring. So here you see one of my spreads, tasting spreads, and favorites from this year I'm going to describe. So my favorite.
又去找 Kathy 了，她又帮我弄解决了。
Sorry, Marta.
My favorite this year, and last year it also was one of the front runners, is Argelino. Sometimes it's spelled Angelino. I think it's a commercial Spanish cultivar. It's very large fruited. It's very flavorful. It has a combination of sweet and sour, and it's very juicy. And it's a lot of flesh. So here in the red boxes, you can see the Argelino fruits. Do you grow Argelino? Anyone? No. Okay.
No.
No.
No. Okay.
Not yet.
Oh, yeah, you should. Yeah, it's coming back to the commercial large scale propagation. We usually grow, lots of people grow what they propagate. So, and I think we should start working towards changing that. So the other two cultivars which I like, especially one, I really like Fletcher White. It's very productive. Unfortunately, it has smaller fruits, but that's I'm going to work on this spring. I'm going to work on thinning because in Japan, they never let like 15, 20 fruits to be in the same cluster. They leave to 3, 4 fruits on a cluster. And next to Fletcher White, I have here Ed's Delight. So they're grafted onto the same tree. Ed's Delight is larger, but I don't think it's as complex as Fletcher White. But they're both sweet. They're both like a little bit pear flavored, and I think Fletcher White also has strawberry and grape flavor in it. So they are very nice fruits, both of them. And the other one, the last one I'm going to talk about is Kando. I actually liked Kando even better a few years ago when my avocado, my loquat trees started to fruit. But this year it's kind of was tailing my top cultivars I prefer. Maybe because we had overly hot summer. I thought Canada had just baked apple flavor and didn't have much more. So, but some people still preferred Canada because I test other people IP. I check out with other people what they like and what they don't. So this one has less acid and some people prefer less acid. So some people preferred actually Canada to Argelina. It's also large fruited, it's orange fleshed like Argelina, but it has much less acidity. So and here's a list of cultivars I removed. So over the years, I removed a number of them because they simply didn't perform. So the first one to go was Alberturli Italian. This year I removed Brandenton. Gold Nugget and Macbeth, they're both commercial, mass-propagated cultivars, but I don't understand why. After tasting Argelino. So Argelino should replace at least one of this, I think, in Laverne. I wish someone from Laverne was listening to this talk. So they're just too simple. They're just plain sweet. If they get sweet, like Macbeth is very sour until it gets ripe, and then it becomes just simple sweet. So Napa Library is also on this list, which I removed. It was one of my first grafts, which was a nice, sweet, but incredibly small fruit. So just a seedling growing by Napa Library, someone gave me. But now, after having much better accessions, I'm removing those ones which simply didn't perform. Okay, now I'm moving to Suriname cherry. So Suriname cherries, I started a number of seedlings like 6-7 years ago, but most of them really didn't grow, didn't fruit, and I couldn't get anything out of them. But this particular seedling from a fruit I describe later performed incredibly well. So it immediately started to grow very fast and to grow straight. It started blooming in the second year from seed and produced fruit for me in the third year from seed. And it's all in Davis, and I do not know any other people who grew Suriname cherry in Davis before me. So it's really not optimal climate we have here for Suriname cherries. Suriname cherries is a Brazilian fruit. So the fruits here are very unusual. Or how they're unusual? They actually don't know what they are, so they come in different shapes. So the early fruits are very often smaller and they don't have any seeds. And the later fruits are usually much larger and have large seeds in them, and sometimes up to 3 seeds. The ribs, they don't have a lot of ribs, but there are ribs. And but they're kind of a smooth ribs, not what you usually expect from a Suriname cherry. And that's very dark. So you basically want to eat this cultivar, which I call Guaruja red. I don't know why I call it red. It should be black. But I named it red anyway, so maybe it's red inside. So yeah, it should be almost black when you want to eat it. And the flavor is excellent. Everyone I shared wood and grafted it, basically very happy with this cultivar. It's not as large as, fruits are not as large as many other known Suriname cherry cultivars, but it's much more complex and very pleasant. So the maximum fruit size is 1 inch. It never grows more than 1 inch. But this particular cultivar actually came from an orange mother. So that orange fruit I ate long time ago, about 7 years ago, and I grew those seeds because I was hoping to get an orange colored ribless fruit. And all I got was this dark red fruit. So that was a big surprise, but of course I don't know who the father was there. Or maybe it's just a normal way the color trait segregates on Suriname cherry. I don't know. But what I'm doing now over the last few years, when I have quite a bit of fruits, I distributed a lot of seeds and a lot of seedlings to different people, maybe hundreds of seeds and seedlings already distributed. And hopefully someone will find light colored fruits and maybe ribless and maybe light colored with ribs too. So that's a kind of a distributed phenotyping projects, like a community project. Of course, I have much less control with how people grow it, how they evaluate it, but that's something we can do together. So if there are no any questions about spring fruits, I'm moving on to summer fruits.
Oh, Marta, I do have a question from Ben. He is asking if Ed's Delight is from Edgar Valdivia.
No, I don't think so. The wood came to me from Louisiana.
Thank you.
So
that's all for the questions right now.
Would that be Spicy Exotics you got it from?
No, Louisiana, no, it was a personal exchange of wood. So,
Oh.
I'm sorry?
Oh, okay, I see. Very interesting.
So it was a guy, I remember, Larry Narcis. I think he has a Lockwood group on Facebook. We exchange wood with him. So if you're on Facebook, you can find him. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, we can do some exchanges too later. I'm not very high in opinion on Ed's Delight, but I decided to leave it for another year of evaluation, and then I'll decide if I keep it or not. So summer fruits. Summer in the valley provides so many fruits, which are very common, but which are absolutely excellent. So just for the fruit production for backyard, we all should grow normal standard fruits just in great cultivars like nectarines, peaches, apricots, cherries, plums, prunes, grapes, figs, everything. And I grow tons of them, different cultivars, many trees, but and I'm not going to go through all of them. I decided to pick like 3 new things I grow, which fruit in summer, namely sour cherries, dwarf grumichama, and oak leaf papaya. Sour cherries, so I was kind of missing sour cherries. I was missing this fat, complex sour cherries we had back in Uzbekistan. I was able to buy here some sour cherries from Andy Mariani Orchard. If you don't know Andy Mariani, check his web store. He has excellent dry fruits now, especially for the Christmas time presents or whatever you're celebrating during the holiday season. So he grows a number of sour cherries, but they were mostly of Central European origin, some Italian, and they're kind of lighter, more on the sour side. So they're good, but I just wanted more. So about 4 years ago, probably, I went online to Geneva, New York, USDA station site. So USDA has a number of stations across country, and different stations, they maintain different fruits. So Geneva in New York maintains cherries, sour cherries, and apples, some grapes too. So and I ordered from them 3 Soviet apples at that time and 12 Eastern European cherries. I think most of them came from Russia, but maybe some came from some other countries. And I grafted them on a couple of different rootstocks and started evaluation. Up to now, so basically all sour cherries, they are not precocious. I'm still in very early stages of evaluation. What is going to perform in our hot climate here? And front runner now is Sumadinka, which actually as experiment was grafted on Royal Rainier sweet cherry tree, which I didn't expect to take at all. But now it's actually overtaking that Royal Rainier sweet cherry tree, and it becomes more of Somadinka tree. And it's a very typical, it's not what I wanted actually, but it's a good performer. It's very typical pie cherry. So it's a sour, you have to make pies out of it. But it's nice to have fruit actually for the diversity. And the Duke cherry, which came from Auntie Mariani, also produced not as abundantly as Somadinka. And Dukes, they are hybrids between sweet and sour cherries. So they are kind of a more into the sweet side. And another cherry which just started to produce is called Almas. It's also very weird hybrid between a cherry and some other prunus species, which is even not a cherry, which are much more on the lighter side. But yeah. Stay tuned. Maybe in another 4 or 5 years, I will know what produces are better. And you see, in Vacaville, we have up to 1,000 chill hours. So we have enough of chills there, but we also have very hot springs there, especially this spring. And some of my trees, they made the flower buds and then they just dried them up. They just were not happy with the spring here in the valley. So now, going from a very northerly fruit, which was sour cherries, I'm introducing this really small fruit tree too, but it's coming now from Brazil. So this is Eugenia itaguahensis. So I grew this seedling myself, and that's a precocious, fast fruits very fast. It resides in Davis' backyard, but it looks pretty hardy. It actually takes all the southern wall heat in summer well, and in winter, it also performs very well. So it's only 4 years from seed it started fruiting. And fruits flavor is very complex actually. It's sweet, it's fruity, it has this myrtaceous flavor. Of course, Eugenias are myrtaceous fruits, right? Like Suriname cherries, they're related to Suriname cherry. My family thought that they're similar to blueberries, but I didn't find them similar to blueberries at all. They have kind of a tougher skin than blueberries, significantly tougher skin than blueberries. But this is something I'm going to keep, and I was going to plant it in ground this year, but never had time. But hopefully it will go in ground in spring. I don't think this will perform in Vacaville, but for the protected backyard, this should work for us in the valley. So, oak leaf papaya, another small fruit for summer. Small, unusual fruit, not something you're going to feast on, but well, actually it produces quite well. So this is a papaya which can be grown down to 23 degrees of Fahrenheit, and that's about 21, I think someone even told me. I don't remember exactly low border, but 23 we had there, and that's fine. Of course, it completely de-leaves in winter, so the leaves will disappear, burn in winter, but then it will spring back in the springtime. So this is how my trees were looking in 2017 by end of the first season in ground. So what happened, basically, I adopted the seedlings which I didn't care much about in 2016 and fall of 2016. And then I decided to stick them in ground in 2017. Out of these 4 seedlings, I got 1 female and 3 males. They are dioecious. And the flowers, males and females, will be on different plants. So you have to have both sexes. And their size about large grapes. So I put them together here with grapes. So you can see that they're really papaya berry. They're not big papayas. They can be grafted. Here I grafted a female branch onto a male, and it started fruiting right away the same season. And now in 2020, I have this huge huge papaya trees growing in Vacaville, they become really big monsters, and we actually started to think that they may be too close to the house, and yeah, might be needing some pruning to do on them there. So the flavor is sweet. Inside there are seeds. So if you just want to have them as a sweet fruit, when you put them into your mouth, you don't bite into the seeds. If you bite into the seeds, you will get a little bit of a peppery flavor. So they can be going into salads if you want them to go and, to have this both mix of the flavors. Flavor, at least for this particular female I have, it has a flavor of condensed milk. So that's how I can describe sweet condensed milk. That's a flavor. Yeah, okay, let's move on. So if no questions about summer fruits, I'll go to fall. And
there is one question, Marta. Jean asked, why'd you graft a female branch onto a male tree and not the other way around?
Because I had 3 males and I had only 1 female. So I wanted to convert at least one another male into female. But if you just want to grow 1 tree, yeah, you can grow just 1 female and graft a male onto it. That's fine. Yeah, it's just, what I got, I just wanted to propagate my female. When I thought I don't have enough fruit, now I have more than enough fruit from it. Yeah, so for fall, again, in Central Valley here, we have tons of fruit in fall. Of course, all the pomegranates, feijoas, figs, early citrus, Asian pears, avocados. So we all have this, and my guavas, they start fruiting from October into spring, tropical guavas. And I produced a little bit of papas 1 year. Yeah, early mandarins are ready from October, and I still have dragon fruits usually. Yeah, I usually have quite a bit of dragon fruits in fall. So dragon fruit, another thing I introduced, but I have like another presentation where I described a lot of dragon fruits I grow. If you go onto my blog, the link will be later in the presentation. You can see what I grow from dragon fruits. It's just a big piece. About them can be done just as a separate thing. So here I decided just to show you some new things I'm growing for the last few years, namely American persimmons, cherimoya. I know cherimoya is very popular where you are probably, but here in the valley it's not so easy. Kai apples and Saint-Jet. So American persimmons are a Native American fruit. It's a second largest Native American fruit, and I'm actually surprised that it's not grown more widely here. It's very sweet. It's a strong butterscotch rum flavored. It's always astringent until it's fully soft. A few years ago, my husband and I, we discovered actually a good patch of American persimmons at the area where the gold originally was discovered in California. Coloma Gold Discovery Park has a lot of this. Apparently, people moving from east of the United States, where these are native to, brought seeds with them. And there are like a huge stand of mature American persimmon trees, and wild geese is feasting on them on the lawn, on the park. And most people don't know what they are, but if you go there in November, December, you will find a lot of them lying on the ground. But there is so much, but of course, those are just seedlings. But these are cultivars I grow and I acquired just recently, and I grafted them on one of my larger older trees, which producing very poorly, a cultivar which supposed to be very good, but didn't produce much for me. But these three cultivars, Lemon Delight, Early Jewel, and Midder, they started producing right away after I grafted them onto the tree. So they may be more heat tolerant. Because what I found with American persimmons, they form the fruit here in the Central Valley, but then as the first heat wave comes, they drop the young, immature fruits. But these cultivars didn't drop it this year. So they might be having a better chance of distribution, and actually people will grow them more because they can get the fruits. Chi, sometimes I don't know how to pronounce it, chi. It's also some people say Z. Fruit is related to mulberry. It's a Chinese fruit coming from northern China, from cold areas of China. Called sometimes mandarin berry, mandarin melon berry, and the particular cultivar I got my hands on a few years ago with help of my friend Harvey. This cultivar coming from currently defunct nursery, Oregon Exotics. It is nursery which was functional in the 90s, I believe, in Oregon. And they had a number of these cultivars, but this is the one which seems to be the best flavored and doesn't have any unpleasant aftertastes. This species is dioecious, and a female producing these large, nice fruits which ripen in November. So if you cut them, you will see inside small black seeds. It's very juicy, very dense, very sweet. So what I do out of them sometimes when I have a lot of them, I just juice them through the food processor which we use for tomatoes, you know, not electrical but mechanical, which you rotate actually. So you separate all the seeds from the juice, and that goes very nicely. And then you can freeze the juice. So you can mix it with juices which are more on sour side, like Kai apple. Like on the right here, juice, yellow juice is a juice of Kai apple, which I also grow. So because Maclura or this chia fruit, it doesn't have acid. It's mostly sweet. It's sweet. Yeah, and the flavor is really like a watermelon flavor. So when I taste it, it's a watermelon to me, but some people taste mandarin, obviously. So Kai apple, I think some of you should know them. They're kind of been quite well distributed, I thought, in southern part of California. I don't think anyone grew them in Davis or Sacramento area. Before I visited in 2014, I visited the garden of Edgar Valdivia, and he let us to try the fruits and to pick some fruits. So I picked the fruit from his tree in 2014, brought the seeds home and started the seedlings. See, these my seedlings, I have a whole row of seedlings, some at home, some over there in Vacaville. And they started flowering probably a couple of years ago. And last year, one of the females started to produce fruit. So it's here in the middle is what I call sweet female number 4. Because already last year, we noticed that the fruits are incredibly sweet, unusually sweet for Kai apple. And that was like in late summer, probably September, so early fall, September, October, yeah. This year, this female produced a crazy amount of fruit. So it is very, very highly productive tree. We lost a lot of fruits to critters because, you know, what you see now, this shape, it took me at least 2 hours to prune it to this shape because everything on the bottom also was covered with shoots, with spines, with everything, with rotten fruit, because the tree was producing from September, maybe earlier, maybe even from late August into November to late November. So it was a lot of fruit on ground. But when tree is shaped like that, it will be very easy to harvest for us next year. We can just put under shallow containers and the fruit will be dropping into the shallow containers. So the fruit is much sweeter in September versus November. November fruit already had more acid than September fruit had. I actually should have a video online where I'm tasting a whole basket of this fruit in September. And it was fine. It wasn't too sour for me. It was actually a sweet fruit. But for those who don't know this tree, I should all warn you about is this horrible, horrible spines. You will see this really strong thorns. So it's not something you want to have around your patio. So this is actually a property line on Vacaville, the Vacaville farm. So that's we are kind of putting them there. Okay. So Chirimoya, one Chirimoya only fruited for me. It's called Fortuna. Fortuna actually was registered in '97 by Nino Capaiolo. I don't think I'm saying his name right. About 5 years ago, I got this small grafted tree as a gift, and it performs for me very well. So it fruits for me already for 2 years. For Chirimoya, Davis situation is very hot in summer and kind of cold in winter. So it grows by my eastern wall. So leaves actually burn very easily when we are getting above 100 degrees. So I never would put this tree onto the western wall. This cultivar is very rare because it never got into commercial distribution channels. Lots of other Chirimoyas registered by CRFG early on, they got into Laverne, and this one didn't. So it's not really well distributed, but it's a nice early fruit. So why early is good for us also too, because it also blooms early. It blooms early and able to start developing fruits before we get into really, really hot weather, hot and dry weather. Next year, I'm going to cover my flowers with plastic bags, hoping to improve humidity around because I get lots of flowers, but not many fruits.
Here's a question here. Did you hand pollinate the Chirimoya?
Sorry?
There's a question here. Did you hand pollinate the Chirimoya?
Yes, I did. But then, you know, I'm doing so much hand pollination and then we are hitting 106 and everything drops anyways. And then I'm forgetting about them and then they're making fruits. So yeah, I think hand pollination is good, but we also need humidity. I heard some people spray them with water, like with a fine sprayer. So that's what I'm going to try next year to increase amount of fruits made. Okay, moving on to Sandjet because we're already at 8:10. So Sandjet, do you know anyone grows this in South? No? Okay, so it actually goes under the bad name of Russian olive. And Russian olive actually in the books in the US, it's in a box of invasive plants. But believe it, it's not going to be invasive in California at all because it actually needs water. And we don't have it here. So it might get invasive on the East Coast where you have summer water. It's actually not very easy to get into establishment here, and especially into the fruiting. I have another cultivar which didn't fruit yet, and this is my first fruits I'm getting. So I grew up with Sandjet in Uzbekistan. It's a very popular street tree which makes these small fruits. So the fruit is basically packed powder, packed sweet, aromatic, fruity flower, like a dry fruit. You put into your mouth. I prefer to remove the shell, this paper shell, and then put into the mouth, and it basically dissolves. It's you can store this fruit for a very long time, but of course it's better fresh. And I think it was ready like October, November this year. Yeah, October probably mostly. Sorry. So the flowers is incredibly aromatic. I even like maybe flowers better because it just the scent is very nice, and you will feel it in your garden even if you don't see the flowers, but they disperse so much aromas around them. So it's really great to have them around. And it's very hardy because it's Russian olive. So I actually sent sticks signs to someone in Kentucky, and he grafted them on just Russian olive because he knew, he actually was exposed to this fruit during Persian War. And he knew this fruit, but he never realized that this fruit is the same as Russian olive because it's a cultivated form. They very often go under Elaeagnus orientalis, all these cultivated forms. And recently I bought this lucuma powder. And when I tried lucuma powder tasted to me like identical to Sinjet. Only later I started to taste lucuma in that powder, but basically that's what Sinjet is. It's already dried powdered fruit when it's ripe, but it happens on the tree. And you don't want to eat it before it will be very astringent. So you eat it when it's fully ripe, sometime in October. And it's a kind of trail food too, because you can pack it into your pockets, nothing will happen to it. And during silk road time, camel travel time, so this was a fruit which always was packed for a long-term travel. Okay, and finally,
there's one question. Is this the same olive called Persian olive?
I don't know. It could be. It could be Persian olive. It goes under so many names, so that's why I prefer this Latin name, and that's Elaeagnus angustifolia or orientalis. But you can buy occasionally seeds, and I bought, before I got my hands on this rooted cutting from Turkey, I actually got seeds, and I have also some seedlings. And seeds of these fruits you sometimes can buy online on the PersianBasket.com website. So they sell them. It goes under the lotus fruit, but it has nothing to do with lotus, but sometimes it's called lotus on their websites. So for winter, my winter is actually the season when I have probably the least diversity, because most of my fruits are citrus. Even I grow like dozens of different cultivars. I grow maybe 20, 30 different cultivars of citrus, but it's still citrus. So the only other fruits besides citrus are tropical guavas. I grow Malaysian guava, and I grow this seedling of Brazilian guava. Some dragon fruits go into the winter, and some late pomegranates. I'm still picking in December some late pomegranates, but mostly it is citrus. So I was very glad to find out that white sapotas actually start producing here very late. So, and white sapotas also not really popular. They were not really popular here, and not many people, I believe, grow them here. But nevertheless, my first white sapote I bought in Home Depot in Woodland, which is north from me here. So occasionally, these big box stores, they buy these tropical fruits from Laverne Nursery, but only 2 of them are available from Laverne, 2 cultivars. So that's why I'm going to talk only about white sapotas now. So Vernon, you can buy from big box stores. Home Depot, Love's, they both have them. So it's very precautious, very productive tree for me. The other one you can buy is Subel. Oh yes, Subel. You also can buy Subel from box stores. But some others, and I grew a lot of them. I grew different cultivars, maybe at least 15 different cultivars. But what you see here, what I listed here, and only those ones which produced for me. So Neti produced for me, Fish produced for me, Santa Cruz produced for me, Subel produced for me, False Subel produced for me, and Gold Nugget produced for me. And I don't have any problems growing them in Davis. They're perfectly hardy for my situation in my home yard, front yard, backyard, it's fine, all fine. They take heat, they take cold, but for 2 seasons, I tried to establish plants in Vacaville and I could not establish them there. They always die in winter. Yeah, so by spring, I just found them dead. It looks like just these few degrees of difference make it cut for white supporters, so why for not overwinter in the valley here. So in conclusion, a couple of slides in conclusion. So fruits, how I'm looking onto fruits now, onto fruits now after 20 years growing them here. I look at them as a staple fruits and sprinkle fruits. So basically, some fruits they can be common or they can be rare and unusual. But if they will produce a lot and it is something you're going to eat on a regular basis, they fall for me into the staple category, especially because I'm mostly vegan. So I eat a lot of fruit. So this is the fruits which will produce for me, which I actually will use a lot. Because why it's important? Because I garden in a small space at home. So, and something else which is probably unusual, exotic, highly looked up at, and I can impress a lot of people by showing my ginberry or showing my midgeberries. But on the right, you can see all my midgeberry harvest in last year. Like this year, I probably had 3 fruits. And it's occupying prime spot in my east-south corner of my house, which I can use in much better way. But a lot of people want to have midgeberry, but it is something is just unusual, but not much to produce. So midgeberries probably will go. But ginberry is sitting on some spot which I'm not going to use for anything else, and probably ginberry I'm going to have. So just will sit there as mostly ornamental and producing some unusual fruits which are nice to taste once in a while. So ginberry is a citrus related. It's a tropical citrus coming from India. But it has this very soft fruit with a single seed inside. So when planting a tree or dedicating a spot, and now I'm looking, okay, is this something I really going to use? Or because that spot where midgeberry is sitting now already had like 3 other plants before which I removed, and now I'm going to remove midgeberry because yeah, I was testing if something will be growing there or not, but it's probably time to decide and plant there something really useful. And the very last slide is just resources. So lots of things I told you today about on my blog spot. You probably already seen it because I believe I sent you it, and I noticed that I have this, I do this small write-ups about my gardening experiments. This year, I also started a website where I started selling plant material. I don't know for how long I will last doing that, but I'm doing now this at a website called reallygoodplants.com. So yeah, thank you for your attention, and yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Marta. I've been honestly at the edge of my seat watching this whole time, and you're so so knowledgeable and have so much experience, and you're talking. I really like to talk about the more exotic fruits, right? The lesser known fruits that have a lot of value that people should plant more of. So I just want to thank you so much, and it was very, very informative, very enjoyable to watch your presentation, and I appreciate you putting up your information for us to continue to follow you, get plant material. That's a great way to connect with you as well for our listeners and for everyone to learn. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And how big is the property, just for a personal, how big is the property you grow your
So at
fruit?
home it's just 0.17 acre together with house. So at home it's very small, but in Vacaville there is a good acreage, but most of the acreage is under walnut orchards. So I'm only using, I don't know, maybe a sort of it.
Wow. Okay. That's
So it's
awesome.
a lot of trees. So we have hundreds of trees there. So probably around 400 trees in Vacaville and 200 trees at home.
I have a question about the dragon fruits too. Do you protect the dragon fruits in the winter?
Yeah, so not anymore. I used to. So I started in 2012, 2013, and I think we had them. It was the year when we had them really cold. The first winter, my young dragon fruits needed to spend outside was 13 to 14, and I had 2 pop-up greenhouses, which I installed. We put them together, and I put heaters inside. So the temperature was dropping to low 20s, and I was running them overnight heaters, just a warm air blow, right?
Right.
That was the first winter. I think I probably did it for the second winter too. Then they could not fit there anymore, and I could not move them anymore. So then I was covering them with just whatever I had, blankets and old sheets and whatever I had. And now I have less of them, but they still produce, but I don't do anything about them. They basically climbing my house, they're reaching the roof, they're on their own. Yeah. So
Okay.
not last 2 winters I didn't touch them. Yeah, but we're also getting warmer. Our winters, like last 2 winters, I don't think we went down below 28, 29. 29 probably been lowest.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
So we're actually not bad. Yeah, we're getting close to 10, zone 10.
Oh wow. Okay. Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm sure there's other questions that people have for you, so I'll let them go ahead and answer. We just want to after the questions, we have some chapter business that we attend to. We have a small 1 acre farm in Harupa Valley that we manage, and certain things to talk about that. We have Scion Exchange locally, which we'd love for you to be involved in, but we
yeah. My family is waiting for me. Yeah, so
so thank you so much.
Chapter people, can go.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So if there are no any questions, thank you for hosting me. Thank you for the invitation to speak. And
I got one quick question for you, Marta.
We will be able to travel and see gardens on both sides of California. Okay.
Yeah. I got one quick question for you, Marta.
Okay.
How do you know what method of grafting to use on the various fruits? Like what method did you use for the Oakley papaya?
I don't know. I just try.
Okay.
So, but I graft so much every year. So every year I was doing like hundreds of grafts, but I think I'm stopping. I just really don't need anything anymore. So yeah, but most graft types work. I don't think type is as important as a connection of cambial layers. You just have to connect.
Okay.
The growing cells, that's it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we're done with questions. Oh yes, thank you. Where can I find black? Okay, now I'm looking at the chat. Yeah, I didn't realize that I need to look at the chat.
This is the first one that we've been watching it, so this is the first
Okay.
question.
Where can I find Black Prince Mulberry? Okay, I started propagating and I sold few, maybe 10 small plants through the website I listed for you. So in winter, I don't know what I'll do. I will maybe do plants and maybe do cuttings, and I just will put them up for sale. So whoever wants can have them, can buy them, and I will ship them. So something like that. So yeah, no any other source in the United States. It's just me now here. But ideally, actually, it would be great to place it into the hands of a large nursery, which will do mass propagation. So that would be much better way instead of me spending my time packing the boxes, doing cuttings, driving to Vacaville, figuring this out. So it's fun, and I actually would like everyone, if you have anything rare, anything valuable, which you think the future generations will appreciate growing, I think you need to start thinking now how you're going to distribute it, how you're going to place it for the future use. Because as a CRFG registrar, I could see how much material we lost over the last 50 years. And the safest way for a plant cultivar to survive is to get to the large commercial distribution chain. So I'm doing my part now, but it's very small. But I'm happy to say that actually some nurseries, of course, small-scale nurseries, they bought material from me, and some universities actually evaluating now. Well, they didn't evaluate it, but they started grafting of my Fidjoy selections for evaluation in their climate. So that's a way to get anything, because otherwise we just will keep our cultivars as rare as they are now, and that's not my goal, to keep these cultivars being inaccessible. Okay.
That's great.
I think that's all. I don't think there are any questions to me, so I just want to say thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We'll be keeping in touch with you, okay?
Okay, bye-bye, guys.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay. Awesome. That was great. Okay, so there's any information you want to refer to, Kirk had recorded it. So now we move on